For the first time in more than 2 years, Nebraska has a winning record after defeating Northwestern 17-9 on Saturday. While the defense dominated the game, the stability of the offense was questioned after losing more players to injury and struggling to take care of the football. Will this defense be able to hold out during the stretch? Can these young players open the door as opportunity knocks? We'll recap the Northwestern game and preview it and how it will impact the rest of the season with our special guest, Sam McEwen, former Husker Adrian Martinez. Sean Callahan will join us to update us all on recruiting, all that and more, next on Big Red Wrap-Up. Hi, everyone. I'm Michael Severe, and welcome to Big Red Wrap-Up on Nebraska Public Media. Nebraska is 4-3 for the first time since 2019, and there's some nice scheduled games ahead of them. Joining me now, Jay Moore, Damon Benning. By the way, the last time they were 4-3 in 2019, they went 0-5 down the stretch. They didn't have this schedule, though. They didn't have this schedule, though. Thoughts on Northwestern?
Man, UGLY, but it's a win.
Yeah.
That's just the way it's going to be, especially with the attrition to the offense, with the injuries, offensive line. It's just going to have to be this type of ball game going forward, where it's going to be uncomfortable, there'll be some sloppiness, but they find a way to win. You got to rely on that defense and the way they're able to play and attack the quarterback and get tackles for a loss, get the sacks, and then hopefully you're able to find a leak in the opposing defense and hit those big plays that they found Malachi on the option pass there. So, listen, from watching on TV, and I was there, wasn't a lot to remember, but I remember the big plays that happened. But it's just finding ways to win these next 5 games. It's going to be crucial.
How much did you think that slow start was coming off a bye? So you can get rusty sometimes.
Yeah, I think that was some of it, without question. But they were playing a team that was in a similar spot, right? So it's kind of a recipe for ugly. But I think for Nebraska, I think it's just lack of continuity, right?
Oh, yeah.
You factor in the bye along with shuffling in so many new bodies. It's an offense that I think needs a ton of time together. It takes time, but I think they have a really good offensive coordinator from a temperament standpoint because he doesn't blink. He's experienced. He's used to sluggish starts. It's not always been pretty for him. So he's not going to bat an eye. And I think you need a guy like that at the helm that doesn't care about style points because you're not going to get a ton going forward.
Ben Hart, Ben Scott, and Fedoni. It's only starters left from opening day. Have you ever been a part of a team with this many injuries?
No, we've had a couple, guys get hurt, but nothing to this extent where you're left with 3 guys, and you have 8 guys that are out, whether for extended period of time or for the season. This is wild. It's all hands on deck. It's I'm sure they're spending extra time in meetings and before practice, after practice, just ironing out the fine details. But DB, I've never seen anything like this in my time, and I know you probably haven't either. I mean, this is
not
very,
at any level, right?
This is very unusual.
No, yeah.
I have yet to experience something like this, and the interesting thing about it is, I wanted Nebraska to kind of have some growing pains because I felt like what ailed them was more emotional than physical. So I kind of wanted them to have to win ugly early and figure out what it was like to come out of the back end. And I'm about over that. I'd like for them to have it come a little bit easier, but it's just not going to. But I mean, here's the beautiful thing: you're going to play Prohaska. He's been a starter before. Lutovsky, Justin Evans-Jenkins has a ton of playing experience. I actually think he's playing pretty well. He could have made a case to be a starter, and if Ben Scott wouldn't have got off to such a good start, I could have seen Justin Evans-Jenkins potentially winning that job at the center spot. So, I mean, I'm not saying they upgraded, but I'm not ready to hit panic yet, and it may force Nebraska into less, 10 personnel and a little more 12 personnel and 21 personnel, and that wouldn't be all bad either.
Evan Jenkins could have been the MVP of that, playing both guard and center, depending on who was hurt.
He's a good player.
We have so much to talk about. We can't do it without you. Help guide our conversation and connect with us. Our call room is up and running, as always, manned by our sports intern, Hannah, and one member of the journalism department as well, with some Valentino's Pizza right there as they accept your calls. You can also email us your questions, bigred@nebraskapublicmedia.org, and even share your thoughts on our Big Red Wrap-Up social media accounts. We'll do our best to get to as many as we can, all of your questions tonight. In last week's Sideline Survey, we asked you about your most memorable moment of the 100 Years Memorial Stadium. Clear winner, 1978 victory over #1 Oklahoma. Nearly 2/3 of the votes for that one. Not a surprise. That was a huge moment in Husker history. If you missed out on last week's sideline survey, make sure you go vote on the new one. So on our website right now, it asks you how you feel about the 3-3-5 defense. Are you waiting to make a judgment until they play Wisconsin and Iowa? Is it growing on you with each game? Are you already very impressed? Or are you so blown away that you can't stop throwing the bones? That's what I would put. That's not what winning right now is. I'm very impressed so far. And with that, let's take a look at the impressive play from the 3-3-5 defense in this week's game highlights. It really was a beautiful day without the wind. It was a nice day. Huskers came out fired up watching him in the pregame, but to start the game, it was obviously not very smooth. First pass, Heinrich Haarberg. This is just behind Fidone here.
Yeah, locked in, and you can't be late over the middle. And he was not only late, he was behind as well, and that's a recipe for disaster.
Consistent thing this year, though. Every time Nebraska makes a mistake, Nebraska's defense usually helps them out. Now, Northwestern helped out a little bit by fumbling exchange, giving up a couple of sacks right here. But look who forced that sack. That was Williams, the freshman.
Nice little limp shoulder on the pass rush move. And Northwestern slow to hand the ball off early. I think they'd like some play calls over.
And this again going to Fidone and gets knocked up.
Yeah, I mean, obviously that's a good target to look at and zone in on, but sometimes zones in too much and too hard of a fastball there and couldn't control.
Defense steps up again, actually moves Northwestern backwards. Sullivan gets sacked for a 9-yard loss on that play. Hutmaker again with his second sack of the game, ended up with 2.5 on the end of the day. Field goal attempt right here. This was with the wind at 45 yards, and I think it could have been from a lot more with that wind. It was such a big difference depending on what direction you were going. He nails this one right down the pipe, and Northwestern goes up 3-0. Heinrich Haarberg comes back now, finally gets going, and this play got him going a little bit. 15-yard pass to Alex Bullock.
Yeah, the art of the improv. I didn't know if he crossed the line of scrimmage, but it wasn't reviewed. And
they didn't call it.
We took a look at it, and, hey, good on him.
No doubt. Emmett Johnson, I know you like him, Damon. Makes himself small in the hole.
Yeah, that's kind of my favorite thing about him. He gets downhill, and he doesn't give you a ton to hit.
Tristan Albano knows this end zone pretty well.
Yeah.
Kicked there in the state championship game. That's into the wind, 47 yards. What a clutch field goal there with the way the wind was blowing. My favorite running back for them is Tyus. I know he's a big guy, so he doesn't have some of the flash, but when he gets in a hole, he runs pretty hard.
Yeah, I really liked what Northwestern did with run game weak side, right? Like, they really did a good job with some tackle over, and I felt like the little intricacies, Nebraska had to do a good job adjusting.
Omar Brown saves some more of the points that could have happened. It could have also been a touchdown. They ended up getting another field goal, making it 6-3 Northwestern. But here comes Emmett Johnson again, Damon.
Yeah, nice downhill. You see the crease? And he almost splits that thing. I like the decisiveness when he runs the football.
Heinrich Haarberg improvising, looking good outside the pocket, makes a nice throw right here. Nick Borkacher for 7 yards, almost getting the first down there. Then he comes back with one of the best runs of the day. What do you think about this option?
Yeah, he's very, very decisive. I would have loved to have seen him give it, but hey, listen, when you make that many yards on the option, they're in business here.
Doesn't give it here, gets to the goal line. At first, I thought they were going to overturn it. Yeah. But you can't when it's that close, right?
Yeah, I thought for once he was a little casual around the goal line.
Yep.
He usually lowers boom. He let up a little bit there. It almost cost him.
Third running back for Northwestern comes in the game. Him goes for 9 yards on this run.
Again, weak side run game. They found something to the boundary.
And then a 12 for 23 for Sullivan with the one interception. Makes a good throw there to Hyman again. And then Sullivan here just makes a poor decision. I mean, it's in the half, so he's just trying to throw the ball up and make something happen. But Tommy Hill makes the play.
Yeah, he likes to go up and get it. Anytime he's got the ball under his arms and with a chance to make a play, he's going to try to go get it.
Gets hurt there. He can't play in the second half, but it allows some of the young players to come in and contribute. One of the longest plays for Northwestern right here, throwing the ball down to Phil Henning, probably their best wide receiver, has been hurt the last couple of weeks. And here's a run. Again, another great job by the defense. And then there's a penalty on the play that puts them back another 15 yards. And then another sack. Nebraska, 8 sacks on the day.
This was a great play by Gifford to trip him up, or Reimer, because that crease was starting to open on a broken play. That was a heck of an effort.
You know, Reimer and Gifford, almost interchangeable when you watch them play. The numbers are different, but they make the same kind of plays.
Yeah, spectacular. Sometimes you just got to make plays.
Haarberg again going down, coming up. What's that call?
We just called it 32 or 38 belly. Now they've added the G to it because it's cute.
Yeah.
But hey, bought him some time. It's all she wrote on the backside post. Caught him in cover too. The corner squatted. Yeah. Ugh, I don't know why a safety would let a guy get over the top, but.
And Garrett McGuire called it. They said he was on. He said, this is going to go for a touchdown.
Give me all 6 of them.
And he actually does. Here's another great play. Malcolm Hartzell gets beat, yes, but doesn't, and he finishes the play, makes the tackle. Defense ends up stepping up, and we don't see it on here, but you had Gifford make a great play on the second down of this series.
When he put his arms up, because they had him beat on the rub route here, right there, right? Like, that's that
great
should
play.
be a touchdown.
Yep.
But he couldn't deliver the football. They tried to run it again, and they got to stop. That time, Hartzell got out there. So sometimes you just got to catch a break.
Again, 8 sacks on. Let's go to the final stats now as Nebraska wins the game 17-9. Nebraska rushing for 163 yards. Not bad passing yards for Northwestern with 176. They threw the ball a lot. And one of the things you look over there, turnovers. Nebraska loses the turnover battle, but wins the game. Again, doesn't happen a whole lot.
Yeah, they're playing with fire here. They're going to have to take much better care of it this week. But they only had the 3 penalties. If you're looking for a glass to be a little half full,
sure,
take a drink of that.
Let's go to the players of the game. Clearly, the defense ruled the game. So both of our players of the game come from the defensive side. Nash Hutmacher with a great day, 2.5 sacks. He also had those tackles as well. And then Isaac Gifford, great day, flying around the field. His 7 tackles as well. Actually, there were a lot of guys with 6 and 7 tackles. That defense plays well together, really, they do.
Yeah, huge. Been president of the Isaac Gifford fan since he played a part in kicking our tail in high school and told us to get on the bus and go on back to Omaha. So I'm a big Isaac Gifford fan. He's not one of those fake tough guys. He brings it.
We're joined by the sports editor for the Omaha World Herald, Sam McEwen. Sam, how you doing, man?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing really well.
Thanks for having me.
Let's go back to the Northwestern game and your thoughts. I mean, everybody talks about how ugly it was, but again, impressive defensive. The defense again played really well.
Effort, toughness, playmaking. You know, so the play that Isaac Gifford made on that screen pass is amazing.
Yeah.
Luke Reimer, obviously, Damon mentioned the trip that he had there, but there's just the thing that I really like about this particular Nebraska defense, and it comes to some degree from the coaches, is the hustle. There's 5, 6, 7 guys around every play. And it's impressive to watch. Like, they have a culture on that side of the ball. And I thought that culture showed up against Northwestern because Northwestern played hard too. And Nebraska's offense didn't play very well. And I'll tell you, if they start that way against Purdue, they're probably not down 3-0. They're probably down 10 or 14. So they can't do that again. And I think Rule knows that. But against Northwestern, you can get away with it a little bit, and I thought Nebraska's defense answered the dinner bell over and over and over. I think they were in Nebraska territory 7 times, and they scored 9 points. That's pretty good.
I think it was Bullock that got his hands up when they ran the little bunch set, and the tight end comes wide open. Herzog gets rubbed, and then they come back and they try to run it again, and they make a play. How many times have you seen where a defender makes a play, doesn't show up in the stat sheets, they have to snap it again, and it yields a positive result? It's like, it's all the things that you talk about.
It's all the little things that they're able to do, and Bullock's a really good example. I mean, I don't know how big he is. If you were to put him on a scale, he's probably about Isaac Gifford's size.
Yeah.
But he plays with just abandon. He plays really hard. Gifford plays really hard. Reimer plays really hard. Jamari Butler plays really hard.
Butler's coming into his own.
Ty Robinson plays really hard. Hutmacher plays really hard. The effort is notable. And it really does say that just hard work and playing tough is part of playing defense. Offense is, I think, a little trickier.
Right.
You can't just want it. You got to do other things. But I think on defense, that want to is showing up, and that's why they've won 4 games.
And the nice thing about it is, too, is if you put the effort and the want to in practice on scout team, they're going to give you a shot on Saturdays, too.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
So that's
James
impressive.
Williams.
Yeah. So that just gives credibility. So those young players are like, man, I want to play. It's like, okay, you have your shot. Go beat up on the one offense all day.
That's right. You know, and by he, I mean the defensive coordinator, Tony White. You know, he's not like, he's just steady. And you can tell that the players like him and they respect him, and that he probably has some things for the players that he doesn't give to the media. But he just, you know, the thing that he does best is show that he'll play a guy, whether it's on the scout team or he'll play 17 guys. And that's something that a player can respect. It's not just words, it's actions. And they're willing to play players on the field and give them, even 9 snaps is better than no snaps. And I think that that's earned him a lot of respect with his players.
You know, there were a lot of people doubting the hiring of some of the assistants because they hadn't heard their names, right? Knighton, what he's done with the defensive line, Ty Robinson's better, Hutmacher's better. All these young guys are playing. Cool. Linebackers are flying around. In the secondary, despite injuries, you never know who's even on the field, and they're all making plays, right? You got to talk about what these assistants are doing.
I think the defensive assistants have been really, really good. I think Rob Dvorak is not talked about a lot. He probably has done as good of a job as anybody. I think Knighton got some pretty good clay to work with. Not that Dvorak didn't, but some of those guys are undersized and banged up, and he's had to move jack linebackers and move around players. And I think Evan Cooper, what's interesting is Evan Cooper's the one who came up with the wrinkle for the 5-man defensive line. And Tony White heard it. So Cooper's obviously a coordinator in making. He makes coordinator money. So obviously he has a slightly different role within the staff, I think, and so they respect his defensive mind on top of his teaching points.
It's interesting. You heard Coach Rhule, like in week 2, say, hey, listen, our offense was stymied a little because our defense, we turned them loose in practice. Situationally, they didn't script a ton. You think it's, at this point, is it more advantageous because it was good for the defense, or more counterproductive because the offense still has yet to kind of come into its own?
It's hard to tell because so many players on that offensive side of the ball have not been able to stay. There's just not a lot of continuity. I do feel like I know what you're saying, and what Rhule said about how the offense kind of saw one style, and Northwestern didn't do a lot of that.
Yeah.
I mean, a couple of times Northwestern rushed 2. And so I think going forward, and we'll see, because Purdue's going to be what? Purdue's going to, in theory, come after them.
Yeah.
I wouldn't. I would sit back and let Haarberg try to kind of pick you apart, and I don't know that he will. But I think Purdue's going to pressure him and try to overwhelm him. And we'll see. That plays into Nebraska's offense's hands in theory because they've seen pressure all the way through camp and during the season. But I thought Northwestern's strategy was actually pretty good. They made Haarberg kind of think a little bit, and they were able to get 2 picks early. And those should have turned into 10 points. And if they do, it's a different game. Yeah. It's a different game.
Sam, sticking with the offense, obviously with injuries to Cochran, Ethan Piper, Billy Kemp, Noelle.
Yeah.
Knowing this offense has struggled heavily already through 7 games, what is a realistic expectation going into Purdue and finishing off this rest of the season for this offense it's just been a catastrophe of injuries.
I think they're going to have to do the best they can. Offensive line, and Damon said it, I think the guys that are going in there could actually be pretty good. Justin Evans-Jenkins, I think, is a pretty good player. Henry Lutovsky, I don't know that he's had as good of a year as maybe they'd hoped, but Henry's got a lot of ability. And then Teddy Prohaska, I think they've been trying to bring him along thoughtfully. But ultimately, he's the guy that I think we all thought would be the starting left tackle. At receiver, it's really tough. I mean, Billy Kemp is a run after the catch guy. They didn't get it to him enough, I don't think, but they don't have him now. And so now they're going to have to, what'd they do? They put Janiron Bonner in the game at one point. Fleeks was in there. Maybe he can do a little bit. Bonner probably remembers some of the stuff. And so they're just going to have to patch it together. I know that Marcus Satterfield has gotten heat from some corners, especially on Twitter. I think he's actually doing okay. He dialed up some plays in that Northwestern game where if they execute them, they hit. And they get some really good plays. The fact that Matt Rhule said on Monday we left a lot out on the field, he wouldn't say that if it wasn't there, and I think they did. Now, again, against Purdue, I don't know if they'll be there as often. I think Purdue's got more athletes, and they got, in my opinion, a better defensive coordinator in Ryan Walters, or whatever you want to call what he does now as the head coach. So it could be tougher sledding. We'll find out.
You think next year we see a few changes like moving the side for Nebraska over to the east side, and maybe even eventually getting a grass field? It seems like that's something that you hear mentioned a lot. I know Rhule likes a grass field. We've been a lot of injuries. I'm not saying they're all because of turf, but do you think maybe there's a chance?
I've always been surprised they weren't on the other side.
Yep.
That's always surprised me.
Right?
Right, because the sun. On the grass field thing, it's interesting. When they put the field turf in, whatever the latest iteration was a few years ago, I asked somebody affiliated with Nebraska, did you ever think about a grass field? And the look that I got back was, no. And,
really? Okay.
Yeah, and it's interesting. I thought that was a surprising response. Purdue has a grass field.
Northwestern?
Iowa State has a grass field. Northwestern has a grass field. Penn State has a grass field. Michigan State has a grass field.
Penn State might have the best grass field in the nation.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And these are all climates that are tougher than this one.
Right.
And so I'm a little surprised that they've never really considered it, but I don't, there might be people with more insight than me as to why they decided. I know back in the day when they ran the option, they wanted to go down the tiny crown. It wasn't Oklahoma's crown, but it was a tiny crown. But now I think a grass field is real, and I think they should put one in on the sideline thing. I've never quite understood why they were on the other sideline.
We talked about it in the press conference again, alluding to the sun and learning the nuances. He's usually pretty intentional with what he says. Do you consider that foreshadowing?
I sure do. Malachi Coleman made a good play because when he ran into the sun was right there. Yeah. Anybody remember the 2010 game against Texas when Rex looked back?
Yep.
And he couldn't see the ball, and it kind of cost him the game.
Yep.
It was in basically about 5 yards away from where Malachi was. He did a really good job. Yes, I think Rule is a foreshadower, and I think a grass field's coming. Now that's a whole different undertaking, and you got to have a turf management and all that. But the sideline seems like a no-brainer. They could do that next week.
There are probably some season ticket holders, though, that pay a lot of money to be behind the bench. Maybe they have to get moved. Eventually, maybe you move the band, although I think the band should stay behind the opponent's bench and make as much noise as possible.
That's right.
And the students as well. But there's something you have to do, but I think that's a possibility eventually to happen.
I would agree with you. Yeah. It's always interested me that they've been on that sideline because I would much rather be on the other one, especially on hot days.
Yeah. Let's look ahead. So Nebraska's sitting at 4-3, first time since 2019. 5 games remaining. What do you think?
Well, I think that they have a chance to do the things that I think before the season we all kind of thought they got a chance to do, and that is to go to a bowl game. And I know Rule doesn't like looking ahead, so we're talking about Purdue and Michigan State and Maryland, Wisconsin, Iowa, and they're going to be laser focused on Purdue.
All teams with problems.
All teams with problems.
So does Nebraska.
Yep, and by the time they play Maryland will be beat up.
Yes.
And so they'll be a different team than they were a week and a half ago or 2 weeks ago. So I think they've got a chance to do the things that we all kind of talked about. They're going to have to win ugly. They're going to have Alvano keep hitting 47-yard field goals. Buschini's got to continue to be a good punter, and I think their defense has to continue to show up. The offense has to do what it can, and I think Satterfield will try dialing up big plays, and if they can hit them, then I think they can go on the way out here and win two more and maybe 3 more games because I look at that Maryland game and the Iowa game, one of the two. I mean, Iowa's a weird team.
Yeah.
And you don't know what Iowa could lose, 3-2. You just don't know. So those are the games I would look at as maybe that extra game that Nebraska might win.
But the toughest one remaining is Wisconsin still?
I think
Everybody
so.
agree? Okay.
I think so. I thought they got. I think they got best players.
Yeah.
Of all the teams that are remaining on Nebraska's schedule, and they got the running back. They got a really good one, and they got a good defense too.
Matt Rule has said a lot of great things, I think, in the press conferences. But talking about how, we don't have a problem going out and recruiting, we don't have a problem going. I thought he was really speaking to the players that have already recruited and the future ones they're going to recruit.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think Nebraska, I think Matt Rule wants to build a program that's around not the 17 days in December when you're trying to get portal guys. Now, sometimes you got to do it.
Sure.
And there are areas where Nebraska, I'm sure, will go in the portal here in December. But I think he wants to build, and when you build a relationship with a recruit, it's not a 4-year relationship. It's more like a 7-year relationship. And so I think he wants to build 7-year relationships. There's a kid at Millard South who's going to get an offer, I'm sure, the receiver. And that's good. He's a 2026 kid, and you're building a 7-year relationship.
Sure.
Recruiting him for 2.5 years, and then now with the portal era, you recruit him every single year they come to Nebraska. And so, examples like that, I think they want to be able to build those relationships long term, and then develop players even before they get to Nebraska once they commit. Yeah. And so that's why they've got so many 2025 kids already in Terry and Booth and Vermaz.
Yeah. Sam, we appreciate it.
Thank you.
Sam McEwen, always great to have him in. Before we go, though, enjoy some photos for Saturday's victory, courtesy of Hurrdat Sports.
All right, welcome back to Big Red Wrap Up. Let's take a couple plays here in the huddle. This is my favorite play of the game. I know that touchdown pass to Malachi Coleman might have been favorite. We'll see that next. But this play by Luke Gifford on this 3rd and 8 scenario, Nebraska's bringing a zero pressure. They're bringing everyone. And as you see here, Luke goes but drops in this situation. You got everyone coming. They ran it was a great call by the Northwestern OC. A little screen pass here into the boundary. I mean, this is wide open. This is a 30-40, maybe a score, because you have Newsome here in zero coverage. I mean, man-to-man, his back's turned. Luke Gifford's amongst 2 guys over here. You can see the little yellow dot there on the left. He has all this space. Luke does a fantastic, or I said Luke, Isaac. Isaac Gifford defeating these 2 guys, refusing to be blocked, going over here, getting off, getting him down, forcing him back to the inside, getting his help, and the Nebraska defense able to get off the field on 3rd down again. A spectacular play by Isaac Gifford. Now, let's look at this touchdown pass, Malachi Coleman up here into the boundary. Like DB said, a cover 2 scenario. You're going to see this corner come down and the safety go over top. Nebraska gets the belly G option pass here, gets good protection. Everyone kind of gets sucked up in. Again, Malachi gets over top of the safety. And one of the best passes from Harburg that we've seen all year, just a drop in the bucket. A beautiful play by the offense to get some points on the board and to really seal that ball game for the offense in the Big Red.
Every time you run one of those plays, it brings up the safety and brings it up, and eventually you hit like you guys did so many times over the years in the 90s.
The key is running that over route really, really hard. That backside safety holds, and that's all you really need. I mean, that's a 5-second route. It takes a long time to develop. So
good job by the O-line.
Everything has to kind of be right. It was well done, but real time, even during the broadcast, I thought Gifford's play was play of the game.
No doubt.
It was unbelievable from up above. He should have scored.
When I saw that play, I'm like, that was incredible. And you're like, what do you mean? I'm like,
they brought a field pressure. They ran a screen of the boundary, and it was a 3-yard gain. That's unbelievable.
Yeah, incredible.
Fantastic.
We want to appreciate Jay for the breakdown. Before we welcome in our second guest of the night, former Husker Adrian Martinez, let's take a look at the coaches and players had to say following the Northwestern game.
I think the biggest thing is we have a standard, and it was not the standard on offense last Saturday, putting the ball on the ground that many times. I don't care about the score, as I've told you guys. But I do care about the execution. I told the team, like, that was one of the best wins I've been a part of, but that was certainly not the best performance I've been a part of.
Just little things that I need to fix. The offense as a whole we need to fix. Just little stuff that in the past has made us lose games, and luckily that stuff didn't make us lose this one.
It's terrible, the ball security and the amount of times the ball is on the ground right now. Like, it's unsatisfactory. It's embarrassing. So we have to fix it.
When we walk out on the field on this coming Saturday, all but 2 guys will be underclassmen on the offense. So those guys are learning by fire.
It's a lot of fun to go out there and work with these guys. They're hungry. They've got opportunity. We look at it that way. Like, a lot of people look at it as we're missing people. We look at it as a great opportunity for these kids or these young men, to show what they've got. We're really excited about them.
The defense will have to do it more this week with the amount of injuries on offense. The special teams have to do it more this week. So we can't start to go like this. We have to continue to go like this and just say we're playing as the Huskers.
No matter where the opposing team gets the ball, it's like when we go out on the field, we like, okay, we're going to stop them. And, we just ready to step up to the challenge.
When we're on point, we can go out there and do it, and we can play with anybody. But until the season is over, until we celebrate however that last game, whatever that may be, and then we turn back and say, hey, these were the numbers, this is where it is, then we'll stop and celebrate. But right now, like, this team will come in here and they'll rush for 200 if you ain't acting right. You know what I mean? So we better act right.
Now we welcome a new guest to the show, former Husker quarterback, Adrian Martinez. Adrian, we appreciate you taking the time.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Crazy time for you now. I mean, obviously doing some stuff at the university, doing some trying to get in the NFL. What's it been like?
Well, like you put it, it's been crazy. Nothing short of it. And really right now this time is all about maximizing. I want to maximize my time. I don't want to give up on my dream of playing in the NFL. I feel like I'm right on the fringe, and I've worked out for 4 different teams to this point since being let go by the Lions. And while doing that, I've been doing an internship with the athletic department and trying to finish my MBA. So a lot going on, but glad to be back in Nebraska.
Super mature at such a young age. How'd you learn to set boundaries? Right, Jay and I don't know what it's like to be well liked. I mean, Michael does. You get pulled in a ton of directions.
Yeah.
And you don't burn bridges. You're well received. How do you set boundaries?
That's a tough one. I'd have to give credit to my parents.
Yeah.
Growing up, that was always something that was preached to me. Treat people with respect and treat everyone the same way. And in doing that, I think no matter if I was at Kansas State or Nebraska, it's always kind of been paid back to me. And I think Nebraska is very welcoming in general, so I don't know if that'd be the same way maybe everywhere.
Sure.
But for sure here, and I've been fortunate that way.
Yeah, I was looking for your phone number. I was looking back at a text from way back in 2018 and asking you to come on a show. You were mature back then. I lost my dad when I was 10. It makes you grow when you lose a parent when you're young. Do you feel the same way, that kind of just helped you mature a little bit faster when you lose a parent?
Absolutely. Obviously a very tough thing to go through.
Yeah.
And I had an incredible support system, still do. And my dad obviously stepping up and being an incredible role model for me growing up. Like you put it, having to grow up at a young age, you kind of figure out what life is all about. But that sort of tragedy that happened, that unfolded, it's led me to be able to pass that on to other people in a way, because it happens to everyone.
Right.
Whether it's 10 years old or 30 or 50, everyone goes through something that is, that is a tragedy or adversity. And so it's prepared me to be in this moment, and I think it'll continue to keep giving.
Yeah, Adrian, you just speak into the maturity and just your ability to communicate to others, and that is such a powerful aspect of football, right? And being a quarterback. And being the quarterback at the University of Nebraska is tough. You need to have mature. You got to be able to shut the noises off. Just talk about that a little, being the quarterback in Nebraska and dealing with the naysayers, and also just trying to communicate maturity and mental toughness to your teammates during tough times.
Well, I'd compare it to being an NFL quarterback. I don't think it's very dissimilar. I think that atmosphere, kind of the bubble that you're in, the spotlight, absolutely. And it's funny, I met Taylor Martinez for the first time a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
And that was the first thing we talked about. And he was almost like, I don't know how you dealt with social media, because that wasn't as much of a factor for him. And it's a whole new dilemma for these current players. It's unavoidable. When you pair that with NIL and trying to promote your brand and do things to make money, but also stay out of the media and don't see things written about you, it's a hard thing to juggle. It's a hard thing to juggle, but that's what I really like about what Coach Rhule's doing. It seems like those guys are really bought into what's going on in there, and that's all that matters.
Talk to me a little bit about continuity, right, within an offense, right? You had to battle some injuries in your own right. You want good rhythm. They've shuffled in personnel in and out. How difficult is it without this practicing with the same guys at the same kind of tempo day in, day out?
It's definitely not easy. It's definitely not easy, especially at the quarterback position, because that is what fall camp, that is what spring ball is for. You're supposed to establish trust with those guys. And most of the time, if you're the starter, I know that it's been a competition for a while now, but you get reps with the same guys, and the twos get reps with the twos, and the threes get reps with the threes. So when that happens and guys go down, you have to kind of build that up quickly, and it's tough. And you have to be able to trust that guy, not just in practice to make the throw, but when it's 3rd and 10 and he's open by a couple inches, man, I believe he's going to run that route the right way, and that's not always easy.
You didn't necessarily have a chance to say goodbye when you left to go to Kansas State, but you had kind of a sale in Papillion with a bunch of your stuff.
Yeah.
What was it like to have all the Husker fans come through there and talk to you? And I know I was watching from afar with a camera. You spoke with each one of them. You spent time with that. What was that like?
It was great. It was great. I didn't expect it to be as big as it was, and I guess that was
a heck of a line.
Well, I should have expected more. People were there at 6 o'clock in the morning, and we had a patrol car coming through to make sure things are all right. And it was a great experience, though, and to be able to speak to fans, not necessarily collectors, because there's always collectors out there that like to get the memorabilia, but just to give back to people and hear their experiences, and kind of, it helped me too, because I was giving away things like, oh, this was from 2019 when we played whoever, or this was from my freshman year, and be able to tell some of those stories was a cool opportunity for me.
Yeah. It's funny, we're talking about personality traits, and you referenced Coach Rhule. One word that I would use to describe both of you is pretty authentic, right? Like, what you hear is pretty much who you are. Yeah. Have you noticed that about Coach Rhule? He's so authentic. He doesn't have to remember what he says to anybody, because it's just who he is, right? Yeah. It just seems to come natural. Are you vibing kind of with that delivery?
Yeah, I like that comparison too. I appreciate it. That's well, high praise for me. No, but what's important about that, I believe, is that the players see him as the same guy in the press as he is in the locker room.
100%.
And that's a big deal. That's a big deal, and I think it's just going to continue to build trust in that program that's needed.
Yeah, Adrian, I think it's funny with Nebraska. You had Jeff Sims start off the season. He had injuries but struggled. Henrik Harburg has come in, struggled early against Northwestern, and people are immediately saying, hey, we need Sims to come in, right? But having that mindset, right? Because, well, having that communication, what is the mindset of a starter knowing that if you mess up, you could get pulled quick? Or is it a different dynamic to where this coach has a full trust in you, right? That if you do make some mistakes, hey, we know we're going to let you learn. Your leash is long. Just kind of explain that dynamic and the mental fortitude it has to go with, because you know you're going to make mistakes, and you know there is potential for you to get pulled, but just kind of battling through that and just trying to get better every play, every rep during a game or practice.
Absolutely. Well, I've lived through both scenarios.
Yeah.
I really have, and I'd say it makes a big difference, because you need to be able to go out there on the field and not be afraid to make a mistake. When you go play afraid, so when mistakes happen, I mean, you play tentative, you can't excel that way. You have to be able to make mistakes and have that confidence. And when a coach puts that confidence in you, it really enables a player to grow and to perform the way they should. And I think Henrik, as a young guy, a Nebraska guy, obviously he was there when my last season.
Right.
I think it's going to be really powerful for him. You know, he can make mistakes, he can grow and still find ways to win. He's doing these things but winning, which I think is a big deal.
Yeah, I guess it's a pretty obvious answer. Were you surprised it didn't work? I mean, you come in, obviously Frost's first year, you guys come in together, you start off, it looks great, the game against Colorado, I know you get banged up, but are you surprised that it didn't work? Because it seemed like you were on the same page, at least to start off. Are you surprised it didn't work with you and Scott Frost?
Yeah, of course. You know, I wouldn't have come to Nebraska or committed and put my faith in the program, in the coaches, and in everything if I didn't believe in it, didn't believe that it was going to work. And, you know, obviously too often we came up too short. We had too many excuses, everyone involved, and it didn't work out. But that was not the expectation or, you know, what I thought was going to happen, even until the very end, you know, my senior year.
Yeah, and the injuries, playing through them, shows your toughness, obviously. Was the jaw the hardest one? Was it the leg? What was the hardest one to have to play through for you?
Yeah, which one? You know, exactly. I'd say the jaw. Yeah, for sure, for multiple reasons. One,
you're a quarterback and you get hit. That's one.
You get hit, and I like to run, you know, so it alters your game a little bit, and then also the secrecy behind it. Yeah, you know, it was keeping it all in-house, which, you know, made us tight as a group, but it wasn't easy to handle. And then losing on top of that, especially when we felt like we had such a good team, made it tough. Yeah. And then ultimately the way it was released and somewhat dismissed, it was tough, you know, tough in that moment.
Mm-hmm. I'm curious, just because I know a little bit behind the scenes, the offense had to evolve and change and you tinkered with it. If you had it to do over again and you got to sit down and they said, okay, AM, what do you want to do offensively?
Yeah.
What would you have said knowing what you know now?
Did you watch K-State last year? You know,
you're pretty efficient.
I would say that offense. Now it'd help having Deuce Vaughn and company, an entire offensive line that's nominated for the Outland Trophy. Like they're really, I can't speak highly enough. I know this is the K-State show.
Are you a 6 to 8 design run guy? A 4 to 7? Like.
Now, yeah, this might upset a few people, but this is my personal opinion. I believe your running back has to be your leading rusher.
Yeah.
Has to be for sustained success.
Yeah.
Now, for sustained success.
And IBEC agrees with you.
Yeah, you know, I believe in that. Now, you find ways to win, and that's all good, but for sustained success. So 6 to 8, maybe it's 10 to 12, maybe one game it's 15 because that's what the game plan demands.
Mm-hmm.
But to have run game first, ideally with the running back, quarterback as a complement, and tie in play action to that offense because play action is the best pass game.
Yeah. Last thing, I know you've been busy, but what do you thought on the season so far?
Yeah, well, I'm proud of those guys. I'm proud of them for battling because there's been a lot of adversity. Mm-hmm. There's no doubt. And we knew there would be. First year head coach, those guys figuring it out. Young players I knew when I was there, they're the leaders now. And I think they got a special group. I do. Now, whether that pans out this year or the next year or the year after that, I do believe the results will be coming, and they're doing it the right way from everything I can tell.
We appreciate your time here as a Nebraska player, and thanks for coming on with us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Adrian Martinez, we appreciate him. We have a new winner in this week's Game Day photo contest. Tom emailed this picture of his grandson, the first time his grandson's ever been to a Husker game, enjoying a hot dog that he caught from the Wiener Slinger. Thanks to Tom for sharing. Don't miss out with your opportunity to send your Game Day photo in as well. We want to get them in no matter where you are. If you're at the game, maybe you're in your garage or you're at a tailgate. Either way, just do that. Send your pictures in, and you can win some really cool stuff as well as you watch the game. I am joined now by our sports intern, Hannah, to talk a little bit about social media. What did you see this weekend? Was it on Twitter, Facebook? Where'd you find it?
We found it on Twitter.
X or whatever, yeah?
Yeah. So the first one we got here is we're all having fun here, so much fun. We love Nebraska football.
Yeah.
We're doing totally fine. And as you can see, there's this photo of unfortunate series of events happening early on in the game. So there might be a little sarcasm in there.
Yeah, it didn't start off great. No doubt about that. What else you got?
And then our next one is Nebraska football and volleyball both win on the same day. And we got this clip. I'm not sure what to do with my hands. I think we should clap, cheer. Go Huskers.
Incredible day for the athletic department at Nebraska on that Saturday. Hannah, we appreciate it. We'll catch up more next week. We love seeing what she shares on social media each week. We have to step away for one more break. But first, more photos from the win against Northwestern, courtesy of Hurrdat Sports. Welcome back to Big Red Wrap-Up. It's time to check in this week's sideline survey. What do you think of the 3-3-5 defense so far? 64% say, I'm very impressed so far. I personally have cramps throwing the bones because of how well the defense has played this season. We're joined by Sean Callahan talking recruiting. Caleb Benning, we kind of know his dad a little bit. He has a legacy and one of the best players in the state commits.
Yeah, nice surprise going into the weekend for Nebraska on Friday. He announced his commitment to Nebraska.
Low key, too, by the way.
Yeah, how his whole recruiting process has been. Obviously doesn't want the attention, want the spotlight. It's all about his team and what the Warriors are doing, but it gives Nebraska commit number 26, the 8th in-state recruit now here in the class of 2024. They did that again last year, 8 last year, so we've never really seen a run like they've been on as far as in-state back-to-back-to-back type numbers. And we're on kind of a record run of talent in Nebraska, and Caleb Benning adds to this great group of in-state players that will join Matt Rhule in 2024.
And another guy in the secondary. And then right after that, you have Kalen Barter decommitting, who was also a safety. Are they connected at all?
I don't think so. I mean,
he just decided to go to Kansas State.
Kalen Barter's from Topeka, which is right by Manhattan, and he's got family connections to Kansas State. And Kansas State made an offer to him. He visited this past weekend, committed to the Wildcats. So I think it's just a good fit for him, with his family situation.
Right.
And being 45 minutes or so from his hometown, so almost a similar type of thing, but talented athlete, having a great season down there in Topeka as a defensive back wide receiver. Not 280 pounds, by the way.
Oh, no, not that very certain. No, he wouldn't be playing safety then. But it's good to get Caleb in there, kind of fills that spot,
Yeah,
too.
it does. And they've added a lot of solid, big defensive back bodies, versatile bodies in this class that can play a lot of positions. And I think one thing we've learned about Matt Rhule is they will move guys around. I mean, they're not dead set on you are coming here as a safety, you're coming here as a corner. They will move guys to offense, defense. We've seen that a lot, as much really as any coach in Nebraska.
And Nebraska's gone to Battle Creek in the past to get some players. Trent Euler is going to join the team as well.
Yeah, Trent Euler, another legacy, is coming as a walk-on fullback linebacker. He's also the top-ranked shot putter in the state.
Oh, wow.
Throws it over 60 feet. He lived right outside Norfolk there in the Battle Creek area. They're having a great season. I think their lone loss is to Norfolk Catholic. It was a really physical game. I mean, he laid a physical hit in that game that kind of went viral on YouTube. So they're getting a really explosive, strong player here that can come in as a linebacker or a fullback. Both his dad and his uncle were former Husker players as well as walk-ons.
The shot guys, they've got that explosion, too, so you want to keep that, of course. You want guys like that. Sean, we appreciate it.
Thanks, Michael.
Thanks, Sean Callahan, for joining us. Let's check out the Big West now and Big Ten West and see how they did. Games that Nebraska, of course, can be playing and teams they'll be playing coming up. Wisconsin rallies, scoring 18 points, unanswered points in the fourth quarter, come back 25-12. Iowa falls to Minnesota 12-10 after that very strange punt return that didn't happen. And then Michigan shuts out Michigan State. I believe that Harbaugh is taking it on everybody they play at this point, 49-0, and did not pull back, by the way. They scored again late, like they've been doing all season long. Michigan is playing pretty well, no doubt about that. All right, let's talk about Purdue. We mentioned this earlier. Maybe doesn't have a great record, but they have some talent on the offense. They have one of the 5th best wide receiver in terms of yards, 5th best running back in terms of yards, and a pretty good quarterback.
Yeah, I think Hudson Card is probably the best quarterback Nebraska will see. And I think he's better than Illinois and Northwestern has. So has a great ability to throw it and run it. I wouldn't say he's necessarily a dual threat guy, but he can. You got to pay attention to what he does. I kind of foresee the game plan defensively with them. It's kind of similar to what we did against Illinois. We kind of had Bullock and those guys, maybe a Reimer as a spy. You bring in pressure, so he will tuck it and take off. So I wonder if that would be a similar game plan with him. But again, similar Purdue's offense, similar to Nebraska, has turned the ball over plenty and it's been sloppy. So see if the defense can continue that and create some turnovers.
I know what you like at running back, okay? Maccabee does everything, not like his legs are going different directions. He's kind of off balance, but he's productive.
That is, I think during the broadcast last year, I dropped an Elroy Hirsch.
Crazy legs.
He was unbelievable. He's all over the place, and he's a lot more fit this year, too. Yeah. They got 2 good running backs, and I think schematically they'll challenge Nebraska. Now we'll see how healthy Purdue is up front. Especially on the right side of that offensive line. But they'll present some challenges. I like the way that they cut the ball back. I like their weak side run game. And they've had a chance to prepare. So, it's imitation is the best form of flattery. I think Northwestern Felt like they had some success with a little tackle over and the weak side run game. We'll see if Purdue will try to mimic that. But Coach White and company, that D-line is deep. And they can play a lot of fellas. It should be very, very physical, and the weather will help.
What do you think about visitors-wise?
Recruiting?
Yep.
Well, it's still coming together. I mean, I think these 2:30 games have really helped them, but in terms of the depth of the weekends they're bringing in, I mean, it's night and day from what we've seen in years past. I mean, there's not a lot of dead weight on these visitor lists. I mean, you know, I would say last week there were 30 guys on that list that were offer-level guys for Nebraska, which that's an outstanding number. And they're getting all their commits here, too, I think, which is impressive. Guys from out of state are coming in every week. And, you know, I think there's going to be some out-of-state guys coming from all over the country again as things get finalized this week.
We have a question from Facebook, Scott Butler. Do you think Satterfield needs to simplify the offense for the young guys?
So there's some give and take there. The short answer is yes, but I don't think he can because otherwise they would move the ball. You know, schematically they got some challenges, and I'm telling you, I don't know about from a sequential play calling standpoint or his creativity, like if he's Norm Chow or anybody, but he's the perfect guy to weather an ugly storm because he couldn't care less about style points. He's going to do what it takes to stack W's, and right now that's exactly what they need. And he's the perfect guy right now because he's got the temperament.
Jane's given us a little bit of grief because we've not talked about volleyball being the #1 team in the nation and the win over Wisconsin. It really was an amazing Saturday night.
It was. Yeah, I was at the game and went to a local establishment to watch the volleyball game. It's fantastic. I mean, the place was packed. Crowd was going crazy, and the way it ends on the 5th set. I mean, that was awesome. 1-2. I just hope that they don't get on the same side of the bracket, right? And when it comes to
get a rematch,
you want a rematch in the finals.
Yeah, I think when you watch women's volleyball and it's played at a high level, it is as aesthetically pleasing as any sport there is. I mean, there are some gifted, big, strong, explosive athletes. I mean, you see 6'9" moving around like, I don't know, maybe like you would. I don't want to speak for you again, Jay, but like, I mean, just graceful.
Yeah. You know what Nebraska volleyball has? A word that you love.
What's that?
Wherewithal.
Yeah, 100%.
Doesn't matter if you're down in the 4th, doesn't matter if you're down 12-10 in the 5th, doesn't matter.
Don't blink, they couldn't care less.
Just next point.
Did you guys see that the rating for the volleyball match
biggest
was
ever
higher than the football game on NTN?
Not surprising.
So because Northwestern doesn't have a big fan base, it was 568,000 to 600 and some thousand for volleyball. Which
people talked about that thing. I was out at Seacrest for band competition, and it's all people were talking about. Everybody had their phones out. What's the score? What's happening in the match? It was really, truly the biggest event in the day in Lincoln the same day as a Nebraska football game.
Unreal.
It's incredible. Well, I was wondering, what did you go to message board, what did the fans think about the uniforms?
You know, they were, you didn't really notice it that much.
Okay.
I think in the picture, you're like, oh.
Looks like Louisiana Tech to me around there. That little blue around the number looks a little bit like that.
What was that movie, The Replacements?
That's a good call.
The guy had the little blue lacing, but I think it was such a minor alteration that you didn't really even notice it too bad. I mean, we've seen some bad alternate uniforms over the years for guys like Damon trying to call the game, impossible to make out numbers.
Not be able to see.
Yeah, and this question gets asked every week, and it's 3 or 4 times on here now. But can you play Jeff Sims at a different position to get him on the field?
No.
I don't think so either.
No, you just can't.
He hasn't played quarterback his whole life. That's what he does.
Where are you going to put him at? I just don't know where you're going to.
Is he going to play tight end?
It's not like he's going to get out there and run choice routes or, some skinny posts or anything. No, I think, when they need him to play quarterback again, he'll be available.
How did or what happened, do you think, to make Ty Robinson and Nash Hutmacher play as well as they have this season? Is it about coaching, about being in better shape?
I think it's a little bit of everything. I think Terrence Knighton's helped a lot. But I also think just the way this defense operates as a unit, you get a lot of one-on-one situations.
Yeah, Campbell's done a good job in the strength room, too, because those guys can now play at 45,
and
right?
Nash can move. He wasn't able to move.
Yeah, his lateral quickness is
I mean, we knew he was a good wrestler, but that doesn't always equate to being a really good, you were able to operate in close quarters and be explosive, but the way he's able to move and get sacks, creating pressure, usually you don't see 300-plus pound guys getting pressure.
This one's for you, Sean. I'm joking here, but Mark from Grand Island, you think that Benning kid will play offense or defense? It's a safety, right?
Oh, he's a defensive
Definitely
guy.
a defensive guy.
Yeah. I mean, who knows what they'll try to do.
Is he more of a hybrid guy or a true safety?
He is. I think he's a field safety.
Yeah.
He can play the rover spot. He's still growing. Whatever he ends up looking like after basketball is what I'll have a better answer.
He hasn't dropped the ball either.
Cross trains those guys. They play them all.
Yeah.
Let's go to burning questions.
My burning question is, what kind of offensive game plan can you create for this unit to be successful? And I think that's the challenge Marcus Satterfield has this week.
Can they play a forced hand? See, with limited number of wide receivers, that brings tight ends and fullbacks into play. How do you play having to be dealt a forced hand? I'm curious to see, because I think they'll get a lot of smash mouth on a nasty day.
Take care of the football. Can they do it?
Can they do it?
Clean.
Yeah.
Just can we see it? Northern Illinois is probably the only game so far this year, but take care of the football for one game. Just see how this offense can operate if they do that.
Can Nebraska do something they haven't done since 2016? Win 3 games in a row. Can they do it?
Jinx.
Don't forget to head to our website and Facebook page and click on the prediction. Jay, Damon, and I will tell you exactly what to expect on Saturday. When Nebraska's back at home to take on the Purdue Boilermakers, kickoff for that game is at 2:30 p.m. Central on FS1. Then we'll be back here next Tuesday night to talk about the season so far with Nebraska Athletic Director and Damon's former teammate, Trev Alberts, and 1011 Sports Director Kevin Schutz. Our special thanks to Sam McEwen, Adrian Martinez, our student volunteer, and our call center for joining us tonight. For Jay Moore, Damon Benning, and Sean Callahan, I'm Michael Severe. We'll see you next week right here on Big Red Wrap-Up.